Today's guest won't hire you if you don't have a six-pack.
He triggered a lot of people by saying six-pack or you're fired.
He went from never having more than $5 in his pocket to becoming one of the highest paid car salesmen, making $716,000 in 1 year.
Don't lose your edge. There's a line full of people that want to fucking take everything we have.
Today, he's building the Elliott Group, a sales training company that's coached over 600,000 people across 176 countries.
You want to go work for a Goliath and be another number, or you want to be an underdog and go take down the Goliath?
In this episode, we'll dive into his unorthodox company culture, his rise from broke construction worker to nine-figure entrepreneur, as well as his unfiltered views on fitness, persuasion, and mindset.
And people say, dude, this guy's crazy. I am crazy. I am crazy. Crazy people are the most successful people in the end.
Andy Elliott.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Jack Neel Podcast.
Awesome. Love it. Let's change some lives.
Guys, we're here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been here for the past few days at Andy's sales training conference. It's more of a mindset training conference, I've learned. Dude, it's been really interesting seeing all of your employees, just how they operate, how kind they are. I came here with a member of my team and they've just been giving us hugs, showing us so much love. Like, I've met a lot of guys in your position, and I've met a lot of their companies, and Patrick Bet-David, I have to say, he runs a great company, but you guys just, there's so much love and family here, you know?
Yeah, he was here a couple weeks ago. We took his soul.
Took his soul?
Yeah, we took his soul. Like, literally. Like, as soon as he went back, his right-hand guy called me. He's like, hey, Patrick decided we're changing the way we onboard clients when they come into the company, and there's a new standard we're going to. And, you know, when I met Andy Frisella, when I went out to First Forum, I saw a different standard of the way they operated. I came back immediately. We changed some things.
Yeah.
So our goal now is we want to be the UFC of sales, right? Of like sales training, you know, coaching and stuff like that.
What do you mean by that?
Like the UFC, like we want to be the like Andy Frisella's company, right? First Forum.
Gotcha.
We want to be the First Forum, the UFC of sales. He's the leader in the supplement space, right? UFC is the leader in the fighting space.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be the leader in the sales space. So like if you're going to sell or you're going to build a team, you know, if you're going to, you know, be in leadership, like we want you to think, man, I need to call the Elliott Group. I need to build a badass culture. And so we can't teach other people to have what we're not. You know, we got to be real, not frauds.
I like
so
that.
When Patrick came out, I was saying, like, you know, he has a great company, super smart. He's one of my mentors. I know he's one of yours. I study him every day. But we're like, dude, we're going to take this guy's soul. We took his soul, man.
Kill him with kindness.
Yeah, well, we just onboard people with massive love and energy, you know, and something in sales you'll learn is that people won't always remember what you said, but they'll always remember the way you made them feel. And that experience, there's customer service and customer experience. And customer experience, the experience somebody has, like you're like, hey man, everybody keeps showing me love. They keep hugging me. They keep doing this. Dude, you can go everywhere else in the world, even if they make 20 times million more money than us, right? No matter how much, you'll always remember the way that you felt when you're around the Elliott Group.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a secret edge. That's magic. And that's how we've been able to grow so fast by retention, is because we just like show people massive love.
It seems you have extremely high standards for everyone you hire. One of your standards, so you fire people if they don't have a six-pack.
Yes. Well, what we did is that we triggered a lot of people by saying six-pack or you're fired, right? I mean, number one, we went viral with that. So it was like super important for us to trigger people, right? It is a standard. And by the way, I have a guy that works for me. He was 350 pounds when I hired him. This guy doesn't have a six-pack. This guy's a six-pack mentality. This guy's down to 200 pounds now, right? He's lost 150 pounds. He's in unreal shape. He just had skin surgery. Like, that was how big he was. It was almost 400 pounds. He's lost 200 pounds. He's had skin surgery now. He'll have a six-pack. What does that mean? That didn't mean he was after a six-pack. That just means his standards were like six-pack mentality. You know, like basically be the elite, be the example, human excellence. You know, a lot of people right now, I mean, they're living life like no one's watching them. Dude, everyone's watching you.
Yeah.
The way you treat your girl, the way that you walk in and, you know, you don't say hi to somebody, you don't show them love. I mean, how you work, just everything you do is an example. I mean, I've got 3 kids and a wife. I know that you're young, you're 23, so like you're super young. But, you know, my kids are watching me, man. So like, you know, I want to be a good example to them. I got a team. If you ever go to build a team and you want to build anything big, you're going to need a team. And so you're going to have to show them what standards look like and be the example. Plus, if you just decide what those standards are and you know what you'll live on, everyone in your company will live on those same things.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want, well, then you'll end up with some company and you'll have turnover left and right. People, once they join our company, they hardly ever leave because it's like a chosen family. It's like we only hire us. And so six-pack or you're fired was basically a standard. I was like, hey, man, these standards are only for the 1%.
Well, why is that the standard, though? Why is like a six-pack so important to you?
Well, the six-pack part to me, number one, I'm 45. So I have a six-pack. So when I go talk to people,
You have an 8-pack.
Yeah. Well, I'm in good shape. But when I go talk to people, people respect me more. There's a thing called moral authority. I saw you interviewed like Andrew Tate and those guys. Dude, those guys, I mean, they walk into the room, they have moral authority. Look, okay, they know how to fight. You can't tell someone knows how to fight until you fight them. But you can tell that somebody takes care of themselves and you know what it takes to take. Look, you know how hard it is to carry a good body as a man or a woman. You got to make good decisions. You got to eat clean food. You got to go consistently, an hour or two in the gym. I mean, every day. I mean, it's like, it takes a lot of work. And so, these people that are taking care of themselves, it's a six-pack standard. You know that like they're going to do what they say they're going to do more than likely, and they're making good decisions. Plus, if you take care of yourself, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I like you more. And people say, oh, no, dude, it's just the truth. I respect you more because you're making good decisions and you're being a good example for a lot of people. I love it, man. I mean, dude, you're making good decisions. I mean, eating trash is not good for you.
Is the six-pack for you or is it for other people?
Well, the six-pack when I was a kid, right? Like I got dumped when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
By this chick. Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
When she went and she's like, that guy's got a six-pack, so I don't want to be with you anymore because I was fat and chubby. By the way, my family is 350 to 450 pounds. So this is a big one for me. I know what happens if I don't make good decisions and eat clean. I know where I'm going. Okay, so like to me, it's for me. But then secondly, I'm going to tell you this. I think I've been able to build a pretty big brand by being in my mid 40s and being in really good shape. I would tell you, if I wasn't in good shape, you wouldn't be here right now. And this is where you look like a dick. If I was 400 pounds, you wouldn't be here. You're like, shit, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you wouldn't. I'm not a leader. Nobody know my name. So anyways, I was really good at sales. I know a lot of people who are really good at sales. I had to figure out how to stand out, how to be different than everyone else. And I thought, as I'm getting older, man, I'm just going to stay in elite freaking shape. And so we just decided like, hey man, we're all going to have six-packs, and in our sales training company. And then also we're going to make that a standard, a six-pack like standard. And anyways, a lot of people will disagree with it. A lot of people are like, oh, that guy, I can't believe he said that. Look, dude, at the end of the day, man, I mean, I want to be a good example for people. And, back in the day, like warriors were in great shape. I mean, we're modern day warriors. We're out there changing people's lives. You're changing people's lives. Cool. You're in good shape.
Yeah.
Why don't you get out of shape?
Less effective.
Yeah.
When you meet
effective.
people, it's totally different perception of you.
Yeah. And your girl doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You talk about people being depressed. I'm sure you remember that time that Andrew Tate said, hey, this guy said he was going to commit suicide. And Andrew Tate's like, hey, get a six-pack before you do. And then once you do, then you can go kill yourself. Yeah. And then I remember when I heard that, I was like, dude, like that just sums up everything that I just said, is that honestly, I like me, truthfully, I like me when I'm in good shape. And the more I like me, the more I'm loving, like to myself, the more I'm loving to everybody else around me.
I'd like to go back to that story, if you don't mind. So your 6th grade girlfriend left you for another boy that had a six-pack. Yeah,
my first girl, she was my crush. And I remember, dude, after this talent show, she was dancing on the stage. We're in 6th grade. I mean, so like it was like a 6th grade talent show, right? And I was like, hey, will you go out with me? Yes or no? Check the box. She's like, yes. I'm like, bam. And then, a week later, she's like, I'm breaking up with you. And I just remember, man, I went around, told everybody that I got the girl in the talent show and I was the winner. And dude, I was a chubby kid. I had cellulite on my stomach, little chunky boobs. Remember, my family's really overweight.
Yeah.
I thought, be kind, be nice, be loving. Dude, listen, life isn't fair. Someone wants what you have. And she was hot. She was cool. And this other guy wondered, he had a six-pack. And I remember she came up. And when she broke up, I was like, why are you breaking up with me? And I remember I cried for like 2 days like crazy, just because it's your first kid crush. And after that, I turned into a nightmare. But I was like, why? And she was like, because that kid has a six-pack. And I remember I asked, I said, what is that? And she said, one of those. And I remember I was like, I want one of those. Like he knew. I was like, I want one of those. And by the way, you don't have to be an athlete to have a six pack. You can just take good care of yourself. I'm a business athlete, right? I'm 45. I don't play sports. Business is my sport. And I want to be in good shape. And I will tell you, it's helped me grow my business a ton by being in good shape. At that point, whenever I was in sixth grade, I spent the whole summer running, doing push-ups every day, exercising. You don't need to be rich to have a six pack, and people will respect you. If you want respect, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
People always will respect you if you take care of yourself. I've never seen anybody not get respect. I don't care how much money you have. If you take good care of yourself, people will respect you.
Agree.
Just because they know how hard of work that is. And anyways, I got in really good shape. And in seventh grade, I went into school, to a new school. It was junior high. And all the girls, I had this 8-pack. I was shredded. And I remember I worked so hard for that all summer in the dark. And then finally, it's like, this is never going to happen. And then boom, it was like there. And it seems like that's how success works. Like, man, I'm never going to get anywhere. And I'm, whoa, wait a minute. We're making it. It was like an early entrepreneur, summer deal that I did, just going dark. And in seventh grade, all the girls were really into me. And it was because I had a good body. And I always thought back at the times I produced best in my life. This is for everyone. The times I produced the best in my life was when I was in the most elite shape. And so I don't know, man. It's like my confidence, my self-esteem, my self-belief, my self-worth. You'll never out-earn your own self-worth, right? Like my self-worth was just there and everything was good. The times I got out of shape, I got comfortable, were the times that mediocrity crawled over me. I got depressed. I lost my team. I made bad decisions. I was hanging out with the wrong people. So anyways, I truly think the gym keeps me out of trouble.
Besides like a caloric deficit in weightlifting, what's your secret to getting an 8-pack?
I think it's eating clean. Like the one thing that I learned is that number one, you can do cardio all you want. I work out with Ali, right? And he's like, I'm like in the gym, like hitting 10 and he's like, and I'll go to 10 and he's like, all right, 10 more. And then I'm like, okay. And he's like, 10 more. And I'm getting pissed off because I don't know when the end's going to get here. And so he pushes me harder than anything. So I would say, number one, I think if you want to really get in good shape in any area of your body, I think you need to work harder. I think you need to shock your body. And basically, I think the harder you go, the more your body gets shocked, the more change is going to happen in it. And then secondly, just eating clean food, man. And the cool thing about eating clean, I would say the shitty part about it is the way you eat today, you really don't see those results for 60 or 90 days. But if you can just hold out long enough, man, I mean, dude, like everybody wants it now. I'm telling you, dude, the body's a pretty amazing thing. I mean, it's super amazing, man. I mean, you saw Zac Efron, right?
Yeah.
Remember when he was like the little kid, then he got all jacked up and he was in like the Baywatch movie? It's like bodies are pretty crazy how they can change. I mean, a guy like you, and I know that this will happen and you'll replay this later, but there'll be a day and you're in good shape, but you'll be like, you know what, man, I'm gonna go up a notch.
Yeah.
You'll do it at some point. I don't know when it'll be, but when you do, you'll never go back. No, you're just like, dude, I like the way I feel. I like the way my clothes fit.
I used to be about maybe 30, 40 pounds heavier. And like just the difference I've had from losing that weight was crazy.
Yes.
Just like it changed. I mean, it's something you said in your conference. It was like your face just becomes more attractive. Like it was like I became slightly more symmetrical even. Like fixed my nose, man. It was like crooked before. It's like some weird shit happens when you get in shape.
People are good looking.
Yeah.
And because they eat like shit, they become ugly. And dude, I'm in the sales world, just so everybody knows, like I've been selling since I was 18. Sales changed my life. So like I'm huge into sales. You have to become more attractive. If you want to be great at sales and leadership, nobody wants to look up to somebody they don't want to be. Okay, if you want to be a good leader, you got to make people want to look up to you. Andrew Tate, he blew up because he's fit. He blew up because he's got a badass mindset. He blew up because he's got the alpha mentality. I mean, how many other men could do the same thing he's doing and they would have their own circles of people that would run with them?
It's interesting too, if you look at some of Tate's old content, he was on social media for a long time. Like I've actually seen his stuff for like maybe a decade now, at least 7 years. And he used to look a lot different. Like he was, him and Tristan both were maybe just slightly bigger than they were now and slightly unhealthier. And then they cut out drinking, started training harder. And then they started blowing up more because they were bigger, more like intense. Muscular. Yeah. It's interesting how that works.
Man. And do you see their eyes? Right? Like, dude, I'm going to tell you something, man. When somebody gets serious about life, their eyes change. Like they change. Like they're a different person. Like change. Like the eyes are the window to the soul. Like you can look in someone's eyes and I can tell if they're scared. I can tell if they're afraid. I can tell if they know what they want. I can tell if they're going to quit. I can tell if they're a fraud. I can tell everything, man. And the eyes tell a lot. And those guys, the truth is, that's right, they had been out front. Their eyes changed. Like they just changed. If you look at them now, man, go back and look at their videos, man. I mean, those guys, they're not playing around. They believe what they say till death.
A story I want you to tell the audience here, I found it really interesting. Tell me about why you decided to grow your calves.
Oh yeah. So one of the things is in life, right? Like business, it's like clay. It's like your body. It's like if we wanted to build some shoulders, we would just focus on shoulders. We would do the front, the back, and then we would do the sides, right? Well, with calves, my dad, like I grew up wearing short shorts. I mean, my dad's from like Woodstock, right? He's super hippie. And so I wore short shorts my whole life growing up. And then as I'm getting like 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, I'm like, dude, I got little skinny ass legs. I got the 6-pack. I got the little skinny ass legs. I'm like, dude, I need to build my legs. And then I realized my calves were super small. And I was watching Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he was like, dude, I had little calves. And they told me in order to win, Mr. Olympia, I needed to get these big calves. And he created these heart-shaped calves. So I was like, dude, I got to figure out how to get calves like that. And I built really big calves, like an upside down heart shape eventually. But I've always been one of these people that is like, if you'll tell me how to do it, I'll do whatever you say.
Yeah.
If you're like, eat this lion and you'll get rich, I'll try to eat it. Like I'll try to chew it up until my teeth break.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if that's what I wanted, I'll do whatever you say. Like I won't question it. And that may be stupid and smart. People are like, oh, that's stupid. By the way, I've made it and I'm not very smart. Okay. So I beat out smart people every freaking day. Okay. Because like I don't overthink shit. Like, okay, you're successful. You've been there, model proven practices. Boom, let's go. I was in this gym. I'm 13, 14 years old. There's this guy. He's got these huge calves, man. And he's got these Converse on. I'll never forget. There's veins everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, if I had those calves, I'd freaking have every girl in the school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd wear all my short shorts everywhere. And then, the guy's like, dude, it's easy. He's like, you got to do, 50 to the outside, 50 to the inside. You got to do 50 straight every day. And you got to drink goat's milk and yeast. And I was like, that's it. He's like, yeah. He's like, get goat's milk. It's got to be goat's milk, yeast. So I go home and I tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, I need goat's milk and yeast. And my dad's like, well, just use regular milk. I'm like, Dad, it's got to be goat. Like you got to run the play, right? It's like, if you tell me to go left, I'm not going to go right. I'm going to go left.
Yeah.
And so I drank goat's milk for a week straight and I put yeast in it. Now, when I blended this up, like when I drank it, like yeast expands. So like every time I almost threw up, my stomach would bloat out. And I was like, I'm just a kid, dude. I'm in 8th grade. And I'm just like, my calves aren't getting bigger, but I'm drinking this every day because I'm not going to stop drinking it. And I walk up to the guy a week later and I'm like, man, dude, I've been drinking it every day. I'm like, it's almost making me sick. I want to throw it. He's like, dude, don't drink that shit. I'm just messing with you. He's like, listen, what I meant, the 50 every day, that's the real deal. But the goat's milk and yeast, don't drink that shit. I was a joke. But I take stuff so serious, man. Here's the deal. My mom left when I was 2. This isn't a victim story, but my mom rolls out when I'm 2. So there's not a lot of love in my home growing up. My dad gets married X amount of times, gets divorced X amount of times. He's a pushover. What does that mean? That just means my dad's not going to stand up. He's not going to hit a traitor on the head. He's not going to fight for something that he believes. And it's not going to happen, man. My dad married his last wife. My dad hates onions. He hates them. And she cooks onions in every one of her meals. And for 10 years, she cooked onions every night in her food. My dad ate them and kept his mouth shut. And he hated it. But he just doesn't want conflict.
Yeah.
And so like parents roll out, quitters. My dad's a pushover. Dude, I'm born to be a loser.
How about your mom? Have you met your mom before?
Yeah, I've met her a couple of times. She's a straight loser.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, my dad, when I was in the 7th grade, I told my dad, I said, and by the way, like these things, like adversity is a terrible thing to let go to waste. Okay. So if you want to really win, anything that was tough, use that as shit to like fuel you to become who you need to become. My dad, I get into a fight with him in the 7th grade. Never met my mom in my life. Never met her. And my mom one day out of the blue calls just and says, hey, if you ever want to come, like let me know. And me and my dad get in this fight and I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna go live with my mom. He's like, you want to go see your mom? You want to see your mom? We're broke, but I'll buy you a plane ticket to go see your mom, just so you never open your mouth again. And so anyways, I call my mom. She's like, yeah, where do you want to go? You want to go fishing? I'll pick you up. We'll go to Lake Erie. We'll go fishing. I'll do this stuff. I'm like, dude, I got the coolest mom in the world. So my dad flies me out. So boom, I land. Mom's waiting there. She's like, we're going fishing. Let's go. We're going to stop by the convenience store real quick, get you something to drink. I'm going to go to the bathroom. We're going straight to the lake. I'm like, coolest mom ever. I literally go in, get a drink. I'm in the car. I'm waiting for about an hour. My mom never shows up. Like, remember, she picks me up from the airport, go to the convenience store. We're sitting there at the gas station, and I'm in Ohio. I've never left Ohio. I'm from Oklahoma. And I'm just sitting there, and she just never came out. So finally, I asked a lady to go in the bathroom because I think my mom's in there. And she went in there, and she's like, your mom's passed out on the floor. And so anyways, I remember looking in there, and there's two bottles of vodka on the floor, and my mom's done. So social services they pick me up and fly me back home that night. My dad picks me up at the airport. He's like, how's that trip with your mother? And I'm like, good. That was great. I didn't see her again for 12 years. And then I was in my 20s, right? And I got 2 older sisters. And my mom's trying to commit suicide. I don't talk to my mom. I've never talked to her. She's trying to commit suicide. And my grandparents, which are her parents, I don't talk to them much either. They're calling my sisters because my sisters are easy to close. And they're like, hey, your mom, she's trying to kill herself because she just wants to be around her kids. She wants to reprove herself in life. So my sisters are sold that if we move my mom out here to Oklahoma, that like, she's going to be a good mom and she's going to be a good grandma and she's going to change and all this stuff. She works at McDonald's. She's a janitor. I'm telling you, man, like what I've been able to do, where you come from has nothing to do with where your future can go. It's just getting around the right people, learning the right information. And I think using a lot of these shitty circumstances as like fuel to be like, oh, that was good. Yeah, I needed that. That was good stuff for you. And I have a lot of these little stories, so my sister said, we're going to go get mom. And anyways, I don't know her. Second time I go to meet her. I drive out there. She's in a trailer park, right? We knock on her door and she's like, oh my God, it's my kids. She starts bawling and I'm like, oh, we did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? We're here. So we load her up. She has nothing. Dude, what's crazy is my dad hadn't seen her in 22 years. And my dad goes, she's still wearing the same clothes she left when you were 2. Like she's just drinking in that trailer. Like she's still looks the same. Ain't changed nothing. Same shorts, Andy. And I'm like, this is crazy. So, I don't really know her that well, but we move her back to Oklahoma. This is how crazy. My biggest problem is I believe I can change everybody. So immediately I'm like, okay, I'm going to show her what a good life looks like. I go buy her house. I go buy her a car. I go get her nails done. I get her hair done. I go buy her new clothes. I make her feel like a new person, right? I do all this for her. First week, she's super grateful. So happy. Can't believe this. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. And there's a birthday party coming up about 2 weeks later. Remember, she's never seen any of her grandkids. She's never seen us. And she's like, hey, when we go to this party, I want to buy the nicest gift ever. Because now she's got these nice things. She's driving her car. She's all excited. She didn't have any money. She didn't have a job. I'm paying for her stuff. We're supposed to be moving her here. She's supposed to go work at McDonald's, go to her AA meetings, didn't do any of that stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm like, dude, I think it was a bad idea bringing her here. She's not getting a job. She's not doing this. My sisters are broke. I'm the only one paying for her. I'm like, dude, I just moved her out to now let her live off me. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who she is. Long story short, this is crazy, but this is why, this was the last time I saw her. I said, hey, we'll go buy a gift for her niece, which is my sister's daughter. And she said, I want to buy something really nice. It was like an $800 gift. And I told her, I'm like, dude, we're not buying an $800 gift. You're going to show up. That's going to be the gift. And then you're going to get a card and we'll buy something for $20. I'm like, dude, you got to realize like you need to work and then you can buy $800 gifts for 6-year-olds. Okay. And she goes, you came down here, you ripped me out of my house. You tore me out of my house. You took me away from everything I know. You ruined my life. You ruined my life. I'm like, how did I ruin your life? She's like, you ruined my life. You've destroyed my life. And now you won't let me live like this? And I'm just like, dude, can we get rid of this lady? So literally I loaded all her shit up. I gave her the car, paid it off, gave her a title. And just like moving fast, I gave her 6 months of living. bought her the trailer where she's at, and took her back to Ohio. And then I was out. I'm like, dude, I'm done with my mom. So have I met my mom? Trailer trash, 100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't say it disrespectfully. I mean, like, she's a shitty person. She'll die without me ever being close to her. And I don't have anything against her. I forgive her.
And how long ago was that? Your last experience with her?
That's probably 20 years ago.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Do you think about reconvening with her?
No, it's just...
You seem like such a loving guy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you want to give love. Like I know it's in the back of your head that you want to reconvene with her someday, perhaps.
Yeah, not really. No. But when I say this to you, remember this, man. She gave birth to me, right?
Yeah.
And she left when I was 2. So like she's quit on me my whole life. So like the times I've tried, like I end up being the bad guy.
Yeah.
So I'm done. And I'm telling you when I say this, that like, look, there's certain people that don't belong in your life. As you get older, you'll realize that your blood family and your chosen family are 2 different things. And I built a chosen family in the Elliott group. And by the way, what I mean by that is I talked to my dad. I talked to one of my sisters. I don't really talk to the rest of them. Dude, when I was 18 years old and I got a job selling cars, right? I remember I was so proud of myself because I made 120 grand my first year. No one in my family had ever made more than probably 50 grand ever. And I remember everybody was laughing at me saying I was a car salesman. I made 250 grand by the time I was 19. I made 500 grand by the time I was 20. I paid for all of my sister's stuff, all my brother's stuff. I paid for everybody's everything. And everybody made fun of me because I was a car salesman. They used me because of money. My wife, when I met her, she goes, your whole family's using you. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, they're all using you. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she says, let's go to dinner and I don't want you to pay the bill. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I always pay the bill. She's like, but let's just not pay it one time. Let's just do it one time. I just want to see what they do. And so there's like 20 of us at dinner. And she said, we'll individually get our own checks tonight. Everybody looked at me like this at the end of the table. As I got my check, I felt really weird. But my wife, Jacqueline's like, we're going to see. I want to see how everybody acts. Everybody paid their bill. They got up. Nobody even gave me a hug and they walked out. My wife goes, this is how things have been going in your life. And what I realized is that my friends were all using me. I made a lot of money. I'd go to the bar. I'd buy all their drinks. And I just never really found my people. I was always a hard worker, but I always wanted to be loved. They say what you don't have as a kid, you crave as an adult. So I thought when I made a lot of money, I was like, dude, I'm just going to, like buy everything for everybody. And then everybody's going to love me. And then my wife's like, dude, you can't buy people's love. Like that's, by the way, you're not going to be happy anyways. And in the end, nobody's ever going to be with you anyways. And so my wife, when I met her, she was the one who kind of showed me. And by the way, she didn't want everybody to not hug me and walk out. She just wanted me to see what would happen if I didn't pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, it's like we've started out with a lot of like crazy like stories. But like at the end of the day, like all these crazy stories, you've seen the people that are around me. I've got a great group of people. I'm surrounded by awesomeness all the time. The Elliott group is a freaking hero making machine. It truly is. I mean, we get 100 million views every 30 days on social media just by being a comeback kid. Like all that shit. Like one day I always wanted to be somebody one day. And I don't mean like want to be rich. I mean, I just wanted to be somebody. I never had a leader growing up. My wife was the only real leader I had. All the people I worked for, they taught me how to make a lot of money. Now, this is important because if anybody's any value out of this, there's those that will teach you to make money, and there's those that will teach you to live right. And no one ever really taught me to live right. They just taught me how to make money. So if I'm making money, but I got shitty intentions, I'm a shitty person. And you don't really know that when you're not around great people. When I was around my wife, I met her when I was 26 and she was 24. She started to kind of explain to me, right, that standards exist.
Yeah.
We draw lines. Like when I met my wife, like, dude, I played every girl my whole life. Probably because I got broke up by that chick, like she dumped me. So then I was like, dude, I'm gonna dump everybody. Like my wife said I was a slut in junior high. I was just a bad kid. By the way, it was kids raising kids. My dad was never around. So like, it was a Jerry Springer show. It was an old show, if you ever seen it. Yeah, Jerry Springer was my life. And so my wife, when I met her, she's like, listen to me, I'm gonna make this clear. She's like, if you ever cheat on me, ever, you're out. Like, number one, you'll never explain it. I don't care if you're drugged. I don't care if you're drunk. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm gone. So if we're going to be together, we're going to draw some hard lines. I'm going to make you a great man. Okay. I love you. I'm going to make you a great man, but you're never going to lie to me, and you're never going to cheat on me. And those are two things. You do one of those things, I'm out. Is that clear? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And I was like, looked at her and I was like, she ain't playing. Everybody was always playing, and I realized she wasn't playing. And I was like, okay. So I straightened up for her, changed my whole life. You know, it's like healthy boundaries are good. You know, I needed somebody to help me draw some lines. But sales is what changed my life when I was 18, man. And, you know, all the way up there to where we are now, it's been sales for, 20, 26 years.
I do want to go into one more story from your childhood before we talk about the transition out.
Yeah.
So when you're a kid, you slept on a life raft in the middle of your pool so you wouldn't get bit by spiders.
Yeah, fiddlebacks. Yeah. So in Oklahoma, right? So my dad, there was a time where anybody could qualify to buy a house. Like, if you had bankruptcies, whatever, like everybody got a new house. And my dad still lives in this house today. I mean, it's cool. It's a new house. I was in 4th grade. My dad got qualified for a new house, and we moved from this neighborhood over to this neighborhood. Now, the budget ran out, so we didn't put air conditioner in it. Mm-hmm. Who cares? We got a new house. We're gold. And there was no air conditioner. And over, 5, 6, 7 years, remember, there's no moms. There's stepmoms rolling in and out here and there, right? But no one ever really took care of the house. It was just guys all in there. So you got a hot house. It's probably ain't never been cleaned right in years. I mean, as a kid, I'm just being.
And how many
real.
siblings do you have?
I have 5 brothers and sisters.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and they're like half, step, this. I mean, it's like a whole. I got
blended
2
family.
real sisters. Yeah, which are my older ones. One I talk to, one I don't. But the biggest thing is that we didn't have air conditioner. So in Oklahoma, you have fiddlebacks and you have black widows. Okay, both will kill you. And I remember, dude, our house was full of them. So everyone in the neighborhood sprayed, except our house, because we weren't spraying, nor did we have air conditioner. So they go where the heat is. So they come inside. And I remember, dude, I'd be sleeping and I'd be like, oh, dude, it's Black Widow. And one night I looked at my little brother and I was like, and I think I was in, 6th grade and he was probably in 4th. I was like, my dad had a pool, those above ground swimming pools.
Yeah.
But it was green. Like it hadn't been swam in probably 9 years, but it was green and it was algae, nasty. There was this Marlboro Man raft that we stole, that we put on top of the pool, right? That floated on it. And I was like, dude, we're going to die, And so anyways, we slept the whole summer on a mattress. So we would go out to the inflation raft every night. It was a big ass one. And me and him would just sleep on it every night, and the spiders wouldn't bite us. And dude, I'm telling you, no joke. Like, if you ever look up black widows and fiddlebacks, like, bro, they bite you, dude. They take out half your arm.
Yeah. I'm from Kentucky. We have a lot of black widows. I never heard of a fiddleback though until you brought it up.
They're brown. They have a fiddle, and they're called a brown lacrosse.
Oh, brown. That's what it is. Yeah. We had those too. I'd always see them at my house, and I'd be like, oh, dude, God, gotta get away from that thing.
Get away from it. Dude, they would crawl on us, bro. And I'm not even joking. Like, we would kill them, and I'd be like, dude, it would be a black widow on my arm.
Yeah. And you never got bit by them?
We never got bit.
Lucky, man.
Yeah, but we just slept on the raft. But these things, man, I look back, and I had a pretty good childhood growing up. And you say, well, what does that mean? I was super poor. I got to do whatever I wanted. I never had a curfew. Even when I was in 2nd grade, there was a time I left. I didn't even go home for like 6 months. I was just staying in the back of the neighborhood. And I remember coming home. My dad's like, where you been? I was like, I was back at Brandon's house in the back of the neighborhood. He's like, cool. I signed all my dad's report cards. I never went to school. I have no idea how I passed. I have no idea. So that's why I think I'm so obsessed with when someone's ready to change their life, I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you did. I don't care how many people hate you. When you're ready to be a good person and change, I think that's how the Elliott group has grown so fast, because I'm just so broken and so messed up. And then I changed my life that I just believe in people so much. No bullshit. This is I'm like Jesus came for the lost, okay, not the righteous. He said, you know, the healthy don't need a doctor. I just truly want to spit as much life as I can into broken people that like you can be the greatest leader ever. And I'm not even joking. And all these guys on my team, they're all broken. Every one of them. We don't hire people with skill. I kind of did it all different. And we run big revenue numbers. We run a big coaching company. We run a big team. Everybody's like, how do I hire a team like yours? I'm like, well, that guy, number one, didn't know how to sell. Okay, I hired him because he had a great heart and because he was broken and he was willing to prove himself and he wanted to come back and be a different person. And I saw that in his eyes and I brought that guy on, and that's how those people end up becoming really great.
Do you believe your ability to hire good quality people is like correlated with who you are as an individual?
Facts.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't hire someone. Number one, A-tier players don't work for C-string leaders. Okay. So I have a lot of A-tier players. Now, I was a D-string leader and I worked my way up to an A-string leader. Okay. And then I hired D-string players that are broken, but dude, that got a chip on their shoulder and they're pissed off about something. Dude, I hire people that everyone else quit on. And I'm like, dude, listen, man, if I take you here, you roll with me for life. We're going to go do this thing. Like Patrick Bet David says, man, look, you want to go work for a Goliath and be another number, or you want to be an underdog and go take down the Goliath? And I had a whole team. They're like, dude, no. Let's go take them down. Let's tear their throats out. Let's go disrupt the industry. And so like all we do is train and self-develop. All we do is work out our minds. We're good to our families. We put like a fence around our family, you know, around our company. And like, you know, we're out in the public all the time, you know, like changing people's lives, but we come back together. Like none of my guys drink. None of them drink. None of them party. None of them, you know, all they do is work out and take care of their families and train. That's all they do.
That's another one. So do you hire or you interview people's families when you hire them?
Always. Yeah, because look, so like you got your girl, you're awesome. You talked about you and her being together for a while, but I want to tell you something. Either she'll make you a better man or a worse man. And I think you like her because she's making you a better man. He said, you know, she'll kind of challenge you on certain things. She'll push you. You and her do life together great. But at the end of the day, who you're with, if you're with someone, that person, I can never compete with that person. You're sleeping with her, not me. Okay, you're with me all day long. You go home. Ultimately, she's going to have more power over you than me. Okay, I need to know, what are her intentions for you? Is she a ride or die with you for life? What does she want for you? Does she want what you want? You know, is she just in this for you to take care of her? Does she want to go through this grind with you? Does she want to be a part of what we're doing too? Or does she not want to be a part of it? Because she don't want to be a part of it, you're not going to be a part of it with me for very long. You know what I'm saying? You may be with me for a year and a half, but then when something better comes along, she's going to be like, why don't you take that, baby? That's more money. And then, but if she sees how much we love her, if she sees that like this is good for you and makes you a better man, then if there's ever a day where you're down, she's like, babe, come on, you work for the best company in the freaking world. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You kidding me? These people, they've treated us amazing. This is awesome. Snap out of it. You know, like we're all together. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I'm all about the family. Plus I want you to go home and also be good to her. Like our guys, we have a rule. Like if you cheat on your spouse, you cheat on your girlfriend, you're fired. Immediately, you're fired. Okay? Like we just don't do
Have you ever
anything.
fired someone because you didn't like their spouse? Or like, have you ever told an employee, like, I need you to break up with this person, or like, I don't think it's good for you?
We would never hire him because, so me and Jackie, so there's a 3-step process on interview. Number one, I'll find, like when I found Ali, I was like, dude, I like this guy. Like this guy's one of us. Okay, number 2, Jackie had a conversation with him and said, also, I need to talk to your wife. And had a long conversation with his wife. Questions like, well, hey, what if your husband works here and it's a half a year down the road, he's not making any money, he's getting his ass kicked? Are you going to tell him to quit and go get another job? Or are you going to tell him to get his shit together and push through and get better? What are you going to tell him? And she was like, I'm going to kick his ass and make him get better. We're not going to quit on this. Okay, all right. That's what we want. That's what we want. We want to know we're all in this together, okay? Like we're after something big here, right? This isn't a job. I mean, this is our life. And, you know, so that's important. So Jackie would talk to his wife, and then the team interviews, which you heard us talk about during the event, that literally the team goes through and the team asks questions. Hey, why do you want to be here? What does Elliott mean to you? How much money have you spent on the training program? What would you say if someone said this and they said they didn't want to do it? What if somebody said they didn't have any money? What would you say? Tell me about your past. Hey, I want to know, like my wife, like she'll sit there in the interview and she'll say, hey, you know what? I know you're here to tell me all the great shit you did. I want you to tell me 3 things that you've done that you ain't told nobody. I want the dirty shit.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I want it nasty. Like I want to know, what have you done that you don't want to tell anybody? Because I want to know, I want to see the worst side of you. Okay, and then we'll look at her and like, we want to know what she did. What did you do? And dude, if people don't want to answer those questions, they don't want to get close to us like that. Yeah, and people will say, dude, this guy's crazy. I am crazy. I am crazy. I think crazy people are the most successful people in the end. Remember, I said greatness is found in the extremes. If you'll be extreme in something, I'm extreme about this. If you're going to listen, one day you're going to want to hire somebody. Who you're going to hire? You're going to hire somebody who's just like you, man. Somebody who believes what you believe, who loves what you love. They don't have to be identical to you, but they got to believe in the same values as you. You don't want to walk in every day and be like, come on, man, stop lying. Come on, man, lying's bad for you. You don't lie. Like, I'm not even wasting my time to go tell people to stop lying. We don't hire liars. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Be good to your wife. Stop being a dick. Dude, I told you when you started here, you can't be a dick to your wife or you're gone. And by the way, listen, I want to be completely clear. We don't hire perfect people. We hire people when they're struggling. We just want to go struggle with them. Okay? So if you want to really build loyalty with any team, you're going to do it by suffering with them and being there with them when they're hurting, not when they're cashing checks and shit's easy.
Yeah.
Okay? People love you. Like me and you go make a bunch of money. Oh, that's cool. But if you're struggling and you're down, you're going through a hard time, if I'm there with you then, that's where me and you bond. Not cashing that big ass check.
How do you mitigate that now, though, with such like a uprise in success in the company? If you're hiring people, like how are they supposed to go through that hardship in the downtimes if it's all going so well right now? Is that an issue?
No. So leaders. So there's 3 steps to leadership, and this will tell everybody how to build what the Elliott Group is building. Step 1 is self-leadership, right? Like that would be me leading me and making sure that I'm living by the cores and the examples of what I want my company to live by. Okay, that'd be 1. Number 2 is going to be leading others. Now I'm going to lead others. I'm going to make sure that other people, right? Like remember, I've led me. Now I'm going to build you to be a great leader. And you're going to also look up to me and be like, dude, I want to follow this guy because I like his examples. So now I'm building more leaders. Once I build you as a leader, bro, I'm going to change your life so much that you're going to be like, dude, I want to build more leaders now. I love what Andy did for me. So step 1's leadership. Step 2 is building leaders. Step 3 is leaders build more leaders. So inside my company right now, I have layers of leadership that go on. There's no title. There's no like, you're the VP or you're the CMO or you're this. It's like, no, dude, like we're all coaches. We're all a team. We're all in this together. And so the people that are at the bottom that are coming in, those leaders that have been building leaders the whole way, they take care and suffer with those people. So our team every week, they get together, they play a company sport, they'll play kickball, they'll play football, they'll do something every single week, and everybody goes and does it together. Every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., they all work out outside together as a whole company. And so they sweat, bleed, grind. They're doing it together. Yeah. So that bond is always there. That leadership's always there. Even if me and Jacqueline step out, like you're just building a culture that's unmatched.
Before we get into some sales stuff and kind of more explaining to the audience what you've built now and like how the business runs, I wanted to talk a little bit about a controversy you were involved in. So was the dealership, it was called Big Red. Mm-hmm. In 2015, your car dealership got investigated by the FBI. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me kind of the story there?
Yeah, it's easy. Well, number 1, I worked for a guy that was crazy. Okay. So rule number 1, I want to tell everybody, never make decisions based off money. If I'm like, hey man, I'll pay you $5 million to come work for me. Dude, if you've never had $5 million before, you're like, dude, I need to go work for this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's exciting, right? I mean, imagine if somebody offered you that right now. The biggest earning opportunity in my life as a general manager when I was younger, I was 30 years old, came at a company called Big Red. I started there in 2011. Now, when I started there in 2011, it was kind of a bad credit store, not good credit, bad credit. Now, bad credit means this. Most people need a down payment. Most people, they need pay stubs, they need utility bills, they need everything under the sun just to drive out in a car. Now, I'm going to tell you about roofing for just a minute. I'm going to go back to cars. if you're a roofer and you're chasing storms, right? An area gets hit with storms and you're like, dude, I'm going to go in there, and you're like, hey man, I can see qualifying damage. Your roof needs to be replaced. You're like, okay, cool, replace it. You got insurance? Yep. Okay, cool. Oh, it shows here you have a deductible of $1,000 on your insurance, which means the insurance company will pay for this $80,000 roof. They're going to put a brand new roof on your house, but you have $1,000 deductible. And they say, I don't have $1,000. What do you do?
Make up that $1,000 somehow.
You can make up the $1,000 somehow, or you just say, well, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And then you leave, and the next salesman behind you will make up the $1,000 somehow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in all industries, they take these little like $1,000 deductibles, these things, and they write them off, and then they process the loan, get the $80,000 roof, and then they roll on. Does that make sense?
Do you think this is a very common practice?
It's common all around the world, but I want to say something. It's insurance fraud. It's called fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud. And by the way, even though it's done everywhere, it's literally it's literally fraud. And what happens is if everybody around the world was doing this, everybody get in trouble. But the problem is that when somebody decides they're after somebody, then they go and then they start inspecting that store and see what's wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what happens is I was in a company when I started in 2011. This store has fake down payments. When somebody comes in, they got bad credit. They don't have any money down. The bank will give them a loan, but they got to put $1,000 down. So when I walk in, they're like, hey, when somebody comes in and they don't have no money down, it's pretty simple. You just basically write that they have $1,000 down on the contract. They get a car, you help the customer, and they roll on.
And that's King Cash.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was called King Cash.
Gotcha. So that was already going on before you were involved with it.
For years. But
I mean, I can see as a business owner where that would be a common practice. It makes sense.
Yeah, but it goes on all around the world in different areas, in different industries. Now, I learned that there because I came from a very good credit store where nobody had to have any money down because everybody had good credit. So we do tons of these loans. I mean, it's just normal everyday life going through. Now, this owner, though, is like the Antichrist. He's a piece of shit. And so he goes out on the market. I think his wife ends up cheating on him. Something happens with a football coach. And literally, dude, this guy sends pictures of his wife and I think it was Bob Stoops' grandson, all around the whole city of Norman. Dude, this guy's a loser, bro. I mean, the guy that owned the dealership was a loser. And I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but something happened. And then Chris did something pretty shitty. When that happened, politically, they came after him. FBI, a lot of people came after him, for I'm not sure that was the number one thing, but in Norman, Oklahoma, the only thing there is college football. And to me, he fucked with the football coach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being straight. To me, that's what I think happened. And then when that happened, the FBI came in and everything that had happened in that store, literally they came down on him. And that guy, the owner, he pulled everybody, there was 4 or 5 of us that were, remember, because I was a general manager. He pulled everybody together and he was like, hey, number one, if you don't lie and follow my story, I'm going to kill you. Completely clear. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. It's evidence tampering, wanted you all to commit perjury, all this stuff.
Yeah. And I just went home and I had to talk to my wife, and my wife's like, no matter what happens, we're not going to lie. That's where things really changed in my life.
What were you facing at the time?
Just whatever charges they were going to bring against us. I mean, they were talking about with a group of people, there's going to be all these different charges. I've never been in trouble. Yeah. So as they're facing this, all I knew from that point forward, number one, these people never had my back. Okay, let's be completely clear. Because everybody's like, you're a rat. No. Listen, a rat is telling somebody something they didn't know. Everybody knew everything that was going on. Okay? Nobody cared about anybody in the company. And everybody was just all about to start lying, which they all did, and they all went to jail.
What were their sentences like?
One got 8 years, one got 10 years. But do you know what I did, though? I just didn't lie. I didn't lie. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. The person I am today is because I didn't lie. For the first time in my life, I listened to my wife all the way. She goes, I don't care what happens. you're not going to lie. It's not about staying out of trouble. You're just not going to lie anymore. We're done. You're going to become a good man. Like, look, dude, there's two things that can really change someone's life. Number one, you can get a bad doctor's report and you're like, wait a minute, I'm going to die. And you're like, I'm going to change. I need to start changing my life now because I don't like the way I've been living. And you've seen people when they get a bad doctor's report, they change everything in their life if they live. And then secondly, losing your freedom. And once I thought for a minute that I was not going to be with my wife and my kids, I thought, dude, nothing in this world is worth any dollar if I have to get in trouble or not be able to go to sleep at night. It's not worth it, man. And so that's why I tell people, man, I'm like, dude, if you run with bad people, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't make decisions based off money. I don't care what pays the most. Find a good organization with good leadership, with a good product that you love, and just stay in it and work for years in it, and you'll end up making it. That's the truth. And so anyways, I just didn't lie. I never lied. I didn't lie to protect him, and I didn't lie to tell the FBI what they wanted. I just told the truth, bro. Like, that's it. Like, I told the truth no matter what, no matter for this side or that side or any side. I just want to tell the truth. I didn't like the guy. I didn't tell the truth because I didn't like him. I just told the truth because the truth was the truth. I said everything that I did. I said everything that everybody did. I said, dude, everything that happened, like, yes, I did that. I did this. I did that. I was there. I was here. And I didn't go to jail. I'm gonna tell you this. The truth will set you free, bro.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go into some of your unorthodox opinions that I took away this weekend and just
Sure.
Going through your stuff in general. You said, I don't like rich people. I'm a broke person with money.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Well, so what I mean by that is that a lot of people that have a lot of money look down on people, right, that are broke and that are coming up. A lot of people do. And I remember when I was younger, I told you a story of a woman who was like, hey, you know, I was the first kid that got dropped off because I was the poor kid. She didn't want me running with her kids. And she called me out. She's like, look, you're poor. I don't want my kid around you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that. Okay. Then as I got a little later in life, you know, I was maybe 20 years old, 22 years old. I wanted to find God, and I walked into a church. And I remember it was a very up church. Everybody was in their Sunday's best. Everybody was dressed really nice. And I needed help, basically. I was lost. And this lady, she looked at me and she's like, can I help you? And I said, you know, I saw the sign, Jesus is your savior. Come in here, we take the broken. She was like, you're in the wrong place. And I just remember her looking at me. And by the way, it doesn't mean that this goes for everybody. There's a lot of rich people that love helping people. I hate judgmental rich people. I hate people that think they're better than other people. Because I'm broken, I'm just naturally chasing broken people. I'm like, I have a high level brotherhood, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure, 10-figure guys. I run everywhere with these guys. These guys are the most coachable people, super cool, ultra loving, great husbands. A lot of rich people, truthfully, don't take very good care of their families. Not all of them, but a lot of them don't. They get really fat. They get overweight. They drink a lot. They do drugs. They're numbing their pain of like not taking care of their family by making more money. And I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Look, dude, 90% of the influencers I've ever met, when I've seen how they treated their wives, it's embarrassing. They don't show those sides. You know, it's a big deal to me, man. So like my opinion is that I'm a broke person with money. What does that mean? It means I love everybody, man. I got high standards. Standards have nothing to do with money. Seems like rich people, they, in my opinion, judged me growing up a lot. I was a car salesman. So I want you to remember this, okay? As a car salesman, you could walk into a party and people say, hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a chiropractor. Oh, dude, that's so cool, man. I'm a doctor. Oh, wow. Dude, you could say anything. But if you said you're a car salesman, dude, people would be like, fucking car salesman.
Yeah.
Right? And dude, like, I mean, I was making $2.5 million a year as a general manager I don't understand. The transportation space is one of the largest industries in the world. You got a car, she's got a car, he's got a car, we all got cars, right? Where do we get them from? Salespeople.
Dealerships, yeah.
Dealerships. Okay, like what are we talking about? But I honestly would tell you that car salesmen, in most cases, a lot of them do suck. I was a very good one. You know what I'm saying? I was very good at sales. And then car dealerships, again, just, I don't know why. It's like insurance salesmen, car salesmen, like people hate them. So I just remembered that, the way that people looked at me, a lot of rich people would look down at me, and I just didn't like that. And so as I started my coaching company and I built the life that I have now, I don't sell cars anymore. But dude, that car lot taught me to be thick-skinned. It taught me to be tough. It taught me to overcome rejection. It taught me to have grit. I mean, dude, that shit taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Dude, when I was 23, I wish we would have been in this era where like self-development existed and it was real and we could learn. Dude, that you couldn't learn none of this. You could read a book, but dude, you couldn't get close to anybody. You get close to the top people everywhere. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. I mean, because I'm 20 years older than you. You know what I'm saying? Just didn't exist. You couldn't get around people. So the only people you got around were your leaders. And, most of them were your managers, and all they wanted you to do is make money and give up your life. So rich people to me always look down on me. And I think it's because I was in the car business for a long time. And dude, like that's what taught me everything,
So on sales, you've trained over 600,000 You've trained over 600,000 salespeople through the Elliott Group. Just kind of identifying what's the number one trait of a top salesman?
Well, number one, they outwork everybody. Like you're always going to learn that the top guys always work. They don't need to be babysat. They don't need a babysitter. No one needs to tell them what to do. They're very independent. And a lot of them are alphas. Another deal, it makes a good salesperson. Somebody that can connect with anybody. Somebody that can master a stranger. Somebody that's not scared, right? Like we're not afraid, like delusional belief. Like, whatever I think is going to happen is going to happen. It's like the law of manifestation, right? Like if I believe I'm going to close you and sell you, that's just what's going to happen. Doesn't matter what's going on. If you're saying no, you might say no 15, 20 times. Doesn't really matter. I know this is going to end up being a yes. We're going to make this a deal. Does that make sense? And it ends up being a deal because like that's what I believe. And whoever believes the most wins. So that's going to be a trait. Belief is huge. Self-confidence, self-esteem, self-belief, those are massive. Speaking ability is huge. The ability to speak and talk through a situation, I think is huge. I think, I don't know why, but we're in an era where we're like in the worst era of communication in the history of time. People can't even shake a damn hand, look at someone in the eye, nor have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
So I think communication's a big key with great salespeople. Like they're really good speakers. Whether they speak to 10,000 or one, people want to hear them because their words tie together well. They got good wordplay.
I guess some practical information for the viewers. So how do you introduce yourself first 30 seconds meeting someone?
Okay. Andy Elliott.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of me before, but I was like, hey, my name's Andy Elliott. We have a sales training company. And so we have over 500,000 people on our training platform. We train over 10,000 companies. And we work with teams on development, team development, culture. And then we work with sales and leadership. That's primarily. I have a digital system that's huge. We do big events every single month. Where people come in, we train face-to-face. But the digital platform is how we reach more people. We became an influencer on accident. I wanted to generate leads, so I didn't have to pay paid media. So when I got online, I started sharing like sales stuff, how to overcome objections, and I started doing things live in front of the camera. We kind of went viral, and people were like, damn, man, that guy's really good at sales. And so when we showed people application-wise, not in theory, this is how to sell, but I showed people like, I got on a stage, my first 4 years that I opened my business, I did a thing that was called battle mics. I got on stage and no matter what, whoever told me no in any industry, I could close you on the spot. And so people were just so like, wow, like this guy's not even my business. He's not even my industry. That word track is amazing. They take it back and close deals with it. And just because I understand sales so well, like what words would move someone forward, what words would close someone down, how people would feel in that situation. And so like I was like an applicant teacher. Like I would do it live in front of people. I wouldn't just tell people I'm the greatest at sales. I would say, dude, hit me with an objection. Let's go. And I would do that on the spot, and we would do it in front of tons of people. And all those people would go back to their companies and say, dude, look at this video. This guy just shut this down. And that's how we started to grow because like I was an applicant teacher.
Yeah.
And then our salespeople, by the way, like B2C, our salespeople that we were selling all became the top salespeople in their companies and broke every freaking record. And then those people got promoted in the company they were in. And then they said, I want all my guys training with him because that's what it took me to be number one. And so over 4 years, all the salespeople that became the top, now they were running the teams. Now they wanted their teams to trade with us. And then so we've just infiltrated the whole sales market.
Yeah.
And so we also became an influencer just by dropping a lot of content. We generate around 1,500 leads a day organically into our company. And we wanted to do that in the beginning so I didn't have to run paid media. But then along the way, we ended up creating a following. And so like, it's cool. It's just like being a leader, man. And we walk through an airport, you have 500 kids run up to you, man. I mean, the cool thing is I'm 45. These kids are 18 to 70. I mean, they're all ages, but really 18 to 25, those kids are running up and they're like, dude, man, you changed my life. I love it. I think it's because we're in a fatherless nation right now. Okay. It's just a fatherless nation. That's how Andrew Tate blew up, bro. He's like a dad to a lot of these guys.
Yeah. Like
values and this is how you live. And, I think I did that, man. I think a lot of their dads, fitness is a big thing to me too. Another part is, I think these guys look at me and they're like, dude, I wish I had a dad like that. And I call everybody brother. I'm like, yeah, brother, what's up, man? It's kind of like I indoctrinate, like we're all one. We're a gang. Like we're a big culture. We're a big family.
Yeah.
We're an army, so Elliott Army, and so like we've built this like brand of Elliott as like a household name.
Yeah.
As an influencer, but also sales is our deal.
Something you mentioned there, I do want to touch on. You always talk about objections, and I know you kind of speak on that it's memorization and like having this certain like word flows that you go through, but is there any objection that you just hate getting? Like, is there one that's just like you struggle with really hard, or like you're like, oh, I don't want to do this one, or like has anyone ever thrown you off with one?
No.
Do you want to go through a few really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so just quick fire sales objections. Do them as quick as possible. It's too expensive.
Yeah. What industry?
Let's sell this microphone. Yeah, it's too expensive.
Yeah. So purchase price or ownership price. See, the purchase price is a one-time spend. This microphone right now, it may cost $100, right? But if you're saying there's another microphone that's $50, right? If that microphone, if you buy it for $50, the purchase price is $50 and mine's $100, mine's $50 more. But if that microphone only lasts for 3 months or 4 months and you got to go buy another one and mine lasts for 4 years, you'd buy 8 microphones and literally the lifetime of this, that would end up costing you $400 a microphone, so what you could have bought for one microphone for $100.
What if someone says, well, what if it doesn't last that long? What if mine actually lasts longer?
Well, research shows, and what we've learned is that those cheaper microphones like that actually don't, which is why I've decided to sell this brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, if you're looking for the cheapest, I don't like cheap stuff, do you?
No.
Yeah, so let's not talk about cheap stuff. Let's go with something that has value. I'm sure when you left your driveway today, you're looking to buy a nice microphone that actually the value for the price was there, that would last you a long time, that, when you're shooting these podcasts and you're doing these things, you weren't going to have a mistake or something mess up when you got an important client in front of you, and then you'd have to end up taking it to the shop or go get another one or panic, right? Cool. That's why you would want to go with this one, especially if you're a professional. Now, if you're an amateur just starting out, maybe you want to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're a pro, you want to use one of these for sure.
Do you ever sell on the brand? Like, for example, this might be the microphone Joe Rogan uses in his podcast. Like, would you ever be like, well, Joe Rogan uses this and you'll gain more credibility, or do you not believe in selling on the brand?
Yeah, of course sell the brand.
You like that?
Yeah. Yeah, but expensive, it's like this. Cheap gets you nothing. Cheap doesn't last a long time, right?
Yeah.
There's value. And by the way, remember this, the salesperson that's selling anything, his goal is to sell as much value as you can. Does that make sense? His goal is to slay every dragon so the objection never comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look, at the end
So you shouldn't even be getting objections.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Then you've done your job
wrong. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest with you. They make a couple microphones that are a little bit cheaper than this, but you'll probably have to go through 2 or 3 of them for how long this one would last. And then it would end up actually costing you more money, plus time and inconvenience on replacing them. Another deal is, it's like, I can explain like the longevity of this versus that. I mean, it's just, but the purchase price versus the ownership price, what it costs to own over the whole period of time and what it costs today, there's a one-time spend and then there's the lifetime spend. And then also at the end of the day, it's just expensive. Could be the cost of doing it twice, of redoing it. Expensive, it could be resale. Look, hey, I totally understand. At the end of the day, how long do you plan on keeping it for?
Yeah.
Look, what we've learned is a lot of these guys, after a year, they're going to upgrade to an even nicer one because your business is going to be doing better. Would you agree? Okay, cool. When you do, you're probably going to resell it. Am I right? And then get you another one, or we just throw it in the trash? If it's in good shape, you'd probably sell it to someone else, wouldn't you? Well, these right here have the best resale on the market. So at the end of the day, these hold 80 to 90% resale value. So if you spend $100 today and it's worth $80 after 2 years, and then you're ready to upgrade, I mean, really, you got a microphone for 2 years and it cost you $20.
An objection I struggle with personally is I need to talk to my wife first. Like, ideally, you don't ever get to that point, but say you're like in the discovery phase of the sale and you're like, do you need to talk to anyone else about this decision?
What industry?
Let's say it's selling this mic, right? It's like, I need to, they make it clear in the beginning, I will probably need to talk to my wife, but she's at work right now. Do you just reschedule the call, or do you try to close it on that call?
Number one, does she know that you're looking for a mic? Or
no.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Does she know that you need a mic? I mean, you're not looking for one, but does she know that this is something new? Like you said, hey, you know what? I need a mic because this is a business I'm going to get into. Or does she know that you need a mic in your industry?
I've talked to it about her.
See, whatever. Let's say it's getting in shape.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it's fitness. Let's say it's anything. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it's making money. I want you to buy my coaching program. Hey, I got to talk to my wife. Look, let me ask you a question. If she knew that you had an opportunity to make more money, would she be mad about that?
No.
Okay, cool. Have you and her ever had a conversation about what's it going to take for us to end up making more money and make these dreams happen that we've dreamed about since we got married?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So when the opportunity came up, if you didn't take it and you had the chance to make more money, do you think she'd be upset and mad at you? I don't want her mad at you. Listen, dude, you got an opportunity to show her that, look, when you said that you're going to give her the ride of a lifetime and those dreams are going to come true, right? That you're going to bet against yourself now. And by the way, you have to bet on you. Look, if you have to ask her if I can go make more money, if you have to ask her, is it okay for me to give my all right now? Dude, if your wife's anything like mine, my wife wants me to be the man. Not the man like I'm in control of the money, but I'm the man to go make the money. So at the end of the day, when I decide that I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to step up now. I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to bet on me. I'm going to put all the chips on the table. Babe, this is the time I'm serious. Look at my eyes. I'm going to make it happen. And then I'm going to prove, if you bought this training program today, would you do it? Yes or no? Look, if you're not going to do it, don't buy it, because I don't want her mad at me because you didn't do the work. But are you really going to do it this time?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're going to do it, then write the check. Cut the check for speed, man. Give her the life that you always promised her. Dude, listen, at the end, dude, she's going to be so proud of you. This is going to be a story where she's like, dude, I remember when you spent that money, I was so mad at you, but then 60 days later, we were making more money, and then you finally showed me you changed. I'm so glad you did that, but I was so mad at that time. That story never happened right now if you don't go all in on you. So only you can tell me, are you going to do the work or not if we do this program? If you tell me you're not, don't do it. Don't waste your money, right? It's like, but talk to the wife. It's like, look, let me ask you a question. It's a fitness program. You're 30 pounds overweight right now. What if, do you need to come back 2 years later when you're 80 pounds overweight?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking to your wife right now, she wouldn't want you to do that. She'd want you to be in the best shape of her life. And I'm pretty sure that her fitness probably relies on yours, right? And when you start taking care of yourself, you start taking care of her, okay? Dude, you should never have to call your wife and ask her if you can get in better shape. These are decisions that she just needs you to make, not only for yourself, but for the whole family. There's some things that truly need a wife, big, giant purchases, but smaller stuff like under $5,000, like this stuff's easy.
Let me ask you one more on the objections. What if it's like between two programs, right? What if I'm like, you and Grant Cardone are offering the same coaching offer. It's pretty much identical. I'm told I'm going to learn the exact same thing. It's just one is from you, one's from him. Same price. Why should I go with you over him? Like, how do you handle that?
Well, if you already checked out his and then you're checking out mine, I would say, listen, number one, people buy one of two ways. Number one, logically, right? Like it makes sense, okay? And then number two, they have that gut feeling in their gut, like this is the program I'm going to do, so I'm going to pass go. This is the person I look up to, so I want to do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so the fact that you're looking at this program right now with me means that you already looked at it with him and you didn't pull the trigger on it because you didn't want to do it. Something stinks, something fell off, so you decided to pass on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we're here right now. But I want to ask you another question. Do you look up to me as a mentor? Do you feel like I've been a good example to you online?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Have you got an opportunity to talk to Grant specifically face-to-face?
In my case, no, but let's just say yes.
But in most cases, Grant's not going to talk to you face to face. I'm more of a frontline guy. So just like, you're talking to me right now, having access to Andy Elliott, being on the calls, doing more, he's more involved with his guys because this is what he does. He doesn't do anything else but this. Andy says a lot of people are good at a lot of things, but they're not great at nothing. Andy is a master at sales and coaching, and this is what he wants to do with his people specifically, just like you. And that's it. So, and by the way, I would ask, Grant's training, and if it was really going, I'd say Grant's in the real estate space now. Last time he made training was 15 years ago. He had 3 feet shoulder pads on and feathered hair.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you want to go watch his old stuff when he's talking about car sales training back in 2012, like that's cool. But if you want to talk about stuff that works right now, past the pandemic, 2024, live right now in this era, like Andy Elliott's the guy who's living on the front line every single day. And that's just what I would say.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, like choosing him or you, you just decide. You want a guy that, was telling old war stories, how I did it 15 years ago? Or do you want a guy doing it right now?
Will you ever refer, say there was someone who you thought was better at your specific thing, and someone was like, I'm looking at this guy. Let's just say that existed. Would you tell them to go to that person?
Well, number one.
Like if you thought they were a better fit for another program.
If they were a better fit for another program, absolutely.
Got it.
Dude, if I couldn't give somebody the promise that they paid for, then I don't want their money. Yeah, dude, our whole so our churn rate in our company is just like, we don't have, people don't fall off our training. Like we've over delivered so much, it's insane that we really don't have any of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we've been able to kill it. That's why we just build so much. That's why in the sales industry, listen, run into any sales guy anywhere in the world and say, do you know who Andy Elliott is? They'll say yes.
Yeah.
Just because we dominated that sales industry, and I've done it being controversial. I think that right now, you're on social media, right? A lot. And I want to say something. We're in an era where you got to stand out. You got to be different. You got to make relationships that other people can't. Marketing is the right message to the right person at the right time. Okay. So if I'm out here right now and I'm like, you got to get a 6-pack. You got to take care of your family. You got to do this. Some guy's going to be, man, screw that guy. Fuck him. Screw him. You know what? There's going to be one day when their kid's going to be like, hey, Dad, I don't look up to you. He's going to be like, dude, you know what, man? I need to listen to that guy. My kid's not even looking up to me. There's going to be a day a wife's going to walk out to the car with her suitcase. She's done. She's sick of his shit. She doesn't care that how much money he makes. She's out. And he's going to be like, dude, I just ruined my family. I had everything I needed and I freaking chased this money and I lost all this. And he's going to be like, that son of a bitch was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's the right message to the right person at the right time. So these standards, dude, I'm telling you, my haters end up becoming our biggest fans. They really do. And the testimony stories, when I grab people's fat and I trigger them, take your shirt off. Bro, I'm a sales trainer. I don't want to do that to people, but I changed my life by getting in good shape.
Yeah.
So people are like, dude, how do you grab someone's stomach if they don't punch you in the face? I don't know. I just do it.
Yeah.
And those people come back a year later and they're like, dude, you totally changed my life. And they're shredded now. And they've changed tons of people's lives. I want to tell you, I'm literally following no play. I'm just following my heart. And I'm like a preacher in the pulpit. And I'm just I remember there was this preacher when I gave my life to God, right? And by the way, I'm not perfect, okay? I'm a reborn Christian. And I remember this preacher stood up and he goes, I want some of you to walk out. I want to tell the truth today so hard, I want somebody to walk out on me. That's my goal. My goal is I want to find out who wants to walk out. I'm going to tell the truth so good that I want someone to walk out today. And I remember as he was talking, I was like, dude, I want to walk out. I don't like what he's saying to me. But all change starts with honesty and the truth. And at the end of the day, man, if you want to increase your life, you have to increase your levels of accountability. And dude, I'm just telling you that people, I don't know how your life was growing up, but a lot of people have been through a lot of shit. Okay. And a lot of them don't tell anything. They don't tell people they've been sexually molested. They've been through crazy ass shit. It's nasty. It's dark. And if we just go around oh yeah, when people mess up, it just, you can't trust them no more. Dude, those are the people that end up changing the damn world. If you believe in God, the Apostle Paul once was Saul. He was the Christian killer. He killed Christians. And then he took the Bible the furthest. And so, I'm just telling you, like, it's biblical that Jesus hung out with the tax collectors. He hung out with the car salesman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he hung out with those people that were broken because those were the people that were the biggest, they had the biggest changes, the biggest testimonies. And so, I would tell you, if you met me up to 39 years old, I would tell you I was really good at making money. I was really good at helping other people make money, but I was not a good leader. And I'm super disappointed in myself. I did good in sales, but I was a piece of shit. At 39 years old, I started living by a new set of core values and standards, which is what I've talked about. And the last 5 years have been absolutely incredible. And I'm going to tell you, anybody can just decide to start following that play at any point. And what we've talked about, the old is gone. Like that car salesman guy, the FBI shit, that guy's dead, bro. Like we're talking about a guy who died. And so I'm trying to talk my best about like remembering that guy, but that guy's dead. That guy doesn't exist. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that changed. That guy died. Really about 3,000 times he died. So like, I'm trying to remember it because I want people to know when they're going through shit that like, it's cool, man. Like just change. Like it's no big deal.
Who's the best speaker you've ever met?
Number one, two people, Ed Milet and then Art Williams. Art Williams built Prime America. Look him up. He's a badass.
Yeah.
Just study him. Art Williams, Ed Milet.
What about Art Williams is so good to you?
He's just so good at motivating people. Dude, he makes you want to just get your shit together and get after it. And he makes you feel that like, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter how much you've messed up, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Just decide, make a decision you want to change, and you can change. And I love that, man. I think this world, the biggest, scarcest thing in this world is leadership. It's the biggest thing that's missing. If you want to make more money than you ever imagined, become the greatest leader at home, in your business, and in the community. And I'm a good leader now. I'm actually a great leader now. And I will say that like, I'm a great leader. I'm saying like, I know I'm a good leader now because of one reason. When I find people, I don't call them out. Everybody's like, oh, that guy will call you out. No, that guy will call you up. Okay. Like I believe in people. Like I think people are capable of like all kinds of cool shit. And I think that when people get pissed off and get triggered and you poke at them, I think they go do something. And so I'm just out there just poking at all these people as much as I can. And dude, like I'm getting these testimonies. That's why we're growing so fast, is because my method is almost like the Tim Grover method of like poking Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. He was just poking them constantly. Did you see the way he shot in that last game, man? You keep shooting like this, you're going to get your ass dusted. You know? He was always stirring them up, making them do shit they didn't want to do. That's how they became the greats.
Andy, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Man, I don't know. There's so much. So many good things. Probably a really good one since I've gotten into success. This is a good one for me. And since I've gotten into success. Well, really, matter of fact, no, there's two things. I want to say two things. Number one, never lose your edge. Okay? My wife always told me, she's like, don't lose your edge. There's a line full of people that want to fucking take everything we have. Never lose your edge. So that's a big one to me. If you want to keep what you have and you want to keep growing, nothing stays the same. You're either going down or going up. There's nothing that stays the same. So you can't lose your edge. Number two, don't become ungrounded. What does that mean? Well, let's say you got a YouTube channel. It's got 3 million followers on it. Everywhere you go, people are like, oh my God, there's that guy. Yeah. And all of a sudden you start treating your girl like you're the fucking king.
Yeah.
She's like, come on, dude. Like, it's like, I'm not going to kiss your ass. We're in love with each other. Like we're tight. Like this isn't social media. That's fake. This is real. And you start skewing real and fake and what's not real. And so we started blowing up so big everywhere we went. Everybody was like, Andy, you changed my life. Andy. Everybody's like, let's do this partnership. Let's do this deal. Let's do this thing. Let's do this deal. And my wife's like, dude, listen to me. Don't ever become ungrounded. Okay, do you remember when God gave us a second chance when you got in trouble? Yeah, and you told the truth. And you said you were going to be a good example to all these people. Yeah, okay. Well, that's what we're doing, okay? This isn't about you. This is about all of them, okay? You're showing your family what's possible, right? And I love that. But like, don't forget about your people. Don't forget about your team. You know, don't become ungrounded. You didn't build this shit on your own, Andy. Your team built this with you. Wasn't you. We should be interviewing the team today. You know what I'm saying? And so like she grounds me, you know, and I don't like it. Because it feels good to have people telling you how, you know, we prayed one day, people would be like, oh, you changed my life. But then you can't let it change you, and that ego will kill you, like the pride, you know what I mean? And so anyway, so don't ever lose your edge. And then also like you can't ever become ungrounded, you know? It's the death of a lot of companies.
Two more. One, I do want to let you talk about Jackie. So that'll be the last question, but what do your prayers look like?
So one of them is a little hard. It's like, there's two prayers that I say all the time. Number one is along the lines of, God, break me in my weakness. So it's a scary prayer because it means whatever my weakness is, I just want him to break me of it. Just want to let it go. You know what I'm saying? Our company, we're like psycho competitors, but like we pray before every meeting. We pray all the time. We're always, you know, trying to stay close with God in relationship. But I always say, God, break me in my weaknesses. Whatever he finds weak in me, I want it gone. I want it out. I don't want anything bad in me. So every day, God, break me in my weaknesses. And then number two, weaknesses could be, you know, it could be porn. It could be lust. It could be anything. I don't know. Like it rotates all the time, what it would be, you know, but it could be the idol for money, you know, it could, like, I don't know, like it just, you know, but then the other one, this is my nightly prayer, is I say, God, you know, surround my kids. I got 3 kids and my wife with your strongest angels, you know, protect my family. And, you know, if I die, you know, just make sure my son is ready to, you know, lead my wife and lead our kids, and, you know, just make sure the team is ready, you know? So if something happens, dude, if I ever die, I know my team's going to keep this company going. I'm not even worried about it. I know our kids are ready, but I just ask them to protect my family, you know, from sickness, from stuff like that, you know, and harm, you know, really. So it's really, God, break me in my weaknesses and surround me and my team and the people we love and, you know, our clients with your strongest angels, protect us.
Last question. Who's the most impressive person you've ever met?
So most impressive person would definitely go down to my wife. And the reason why is because she's really my mentor. I have all these mentors, and I want to explain this. So 2 things. Number one, when I met Patrick Bet-David first time, I said, dude, I'm going to be your greatest student, period. I met Tony Robbins. I said, I'm going to be your greatest student. So anytime I find a mentor that I know I want to learn everything they know, I call my shot immediately. I'm like, I'm going to be your greatest student. Whatever you know, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it better than you teach it. Because number one, I'm that grateful for you that I want to be your greatest student. I want you to look up and go, hey, this guy, he went all the way with everything I taught. And so like, I want my students to do that. And so that's my number one goal, is that I want to be those mentors. I want to be their greatest student. The biggest real life mentor, right, that I've ever had, you know, like, is my wife. And my wife, she just has such a good heart. She just doesn't break. Dude, I've seen her under so much pressure and she never breaks. When we bought this building here, right, this building was a shell. It was a shell, 70,000 square feet, just shell. There's nothing in it. No electricity, dirt floors, just nothing. I mean, dude, there's nothing. And we had a quote what it would take. It would take a year and 4 months to build the inside of this out before we could do an event here. It was just a shell. There's nothing in it. Nothing. And I got on social media. This is back in 2022. And I said, we're going to do an event in 90 days. And Jackie's like, you mother effer. and the deal is that she doesn't lose. If she says she's going to do it, she's going to do it. And if I say that I'm going to do it, she'll back me and kill herself to get it done. And so I've just seen her overcome all these things. She's an amazing mother. She was awesome in business. She learns everything. Even if she doesn't understand it, she'll study it until she gets it down. She's just ultra, ultra amazing. But she's my ride or die. She keeps me on point. She's super direct. She's super loving. She makes us keep our word no matter what. If we say we're going to do it, it could cost us $20 million. We have to do it. If it meant selling our business and keeping our word, we'd have to do it. It doesn't matter. Like that, dude, she's like cartel leadership, right? But anyways, 90 days, you know what she did? She grabbed the whole team. There was about 40 of us. And she said, we are going to build this building together, all 40 of us, for the next 90 days. And I'm going to have contractors in here, I'm going to have people in here, I'm going to have everybody in here. We're going to do what they said it would take us a year and 3 or 4 months to do, and we're going to do it in the next 90 days. And in 90 days, we had the entire building done. We sold during the day, and we all worked all night long. We literally were high off epoxy. We were running around here hanging sheetrock, dead tired, zombies, insomnia for months. And guess what? We did it. We made it happen. And it's because she was like, we're going to keep our word. And even there was wet paint going in the next morning before the event. We did it. We've always done what we said we were going to do because of her. And anyways, I love Jackie. I call her the cartel leader. And I'm going to tell you what that means. It's like guys always got to have like one last run. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch cartel movies, the guys are always like, one last run. We got to make one more run. This is our last one.
Yeah.
But the women never die because they know their intuition is so good. They're like, we're going to wait on this one. Let the guys go. They'll die. We're going to wait. This isn't a good move. We're not going to do this. My wife always calls the shot. Everybody that screwed me, she said they were going to screw me before they ever screwed me. She goes, that guy's going to screw you. And I was like, babe, come on. You know that guy's a good guy. We can trust him. He screws me. She's like, told you. She's called every shot. She knew every freaking time. Every time since we've been together, she's called every one of them. She's the greatest leader ever. And so I just learned that's why she runs our company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so from like the time when I got in trouble with the FBI and all that happened, I went home. She goes, dude, I'm always going to be with you. She's like, I'll be with you until you die. If you go to jail for 10 years, I'll be right here. Like, this is horrible to talk about, but like, I'll be right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here with you forever. But if we tell the truth, and the Bible says the truth will set you free. She's like, Andy, I'm not into religion. I'm into relationship with God. It's to tell the truth. If we just tell the truth, I think it's going to work. You just got to tell the truth. Like, don't get confused. Stay grounded. Tell the truth. And I told the truth the whole time. She told me to tell the truth the whole time. I was scared to death. Everybody else lied. Everybody else lied at some point. I was the only one that didn't lie for 5 years. I didn't tell a lie. I didn't go to jail. So because of her leadership, her guidance, she's like, we're not going to live that way. So anyways, but I would say that's the one that I look up to the most. There's lots of great mentors, but she's the greatest of them all.
That's lovely. Andy, thank you for sharing your story, man. Honestly. Everyone, this has been the Jack Neel Podcast. This is your guest, Andy Elliott. Thank you for sharing.
Bet, brother.
Appreciate it, man.